Oh yeah, I'm live. All right, let's see. Uh huh. Yo. Going in the whip for this. My first time going live, y'all. Don't mind me. Even in the score. Okay. Yeah, you know, just an average show. Be talking about a lot of topics, a lot of different things. So y'all get ready, cause I'm trying to spearhead this shit for real.
There you go.
Yo,
Yeah, I'm on, bro. How you doing?
I'm cooling, bro. Do I sound good on your end?
Yeah, you sound good.
All right, bet. First time doing this, so I'm trying to get everything right. All right, all right, but everything good with you? You chilling?
Yeah, I'm chilling, man. I had no idea that you was Scar Wolf.
What? Say that again?
I had no idea you was Star Wolf.
Oh, you ain't know that was me?
No, I did not know it. Cause you told you face. I didn't know you by that name. Now you be in the chat 24/7. Yeah, that's
Yes.
how the internet is, man. I had no idea, bro. I had no idea.
Yo, hold on. It's kind of breaking up a little bit. Let me see. All right. I don't know if that's on my end. Is that on my end or your end?
I believe it's on your end because I can hear you clear.
All right. Hold on. Let me fuck with the. Let me mess around. I might have to go on the other Wi-Fi
Do
for
you
this
have
shit.
two devices open?
Huh?
You can't have a computer and a phone open at the same time. Okay, we lost him. Hopefully he get back. Trial and error, build an airplane while we fly it. That's all that is. Just build an airplane while we fly it. Sometimes this things come down to this is trial and error, and oftentimes we gotta build an airplane while we fly it.
Hold on. Let me get on my other. I'm about to switch. I'm about to switch networks real quick.
Okay.
Um, Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, bet. All right. So, all right, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go in with these questions. That's cool.
Okay. Yeah, good. Let's go, bro. Let's
All
do
right.
it.
So,
City Hood Click. Let's go.
all right. Well, one thing I want to touch on because I seen I was watching one of your I was watching your stream earlier, and y'all was talking about the younger generation, like compared to when they do things. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Compared to like the older generation, and I
Uh-huh.
always like I'm a younger dude who I always like watch the older dudes, and I'm like, you know, I don't like when the younger dudes like act like the older generation wasn't a lot more calculated than the younger generation because I feel like it's just a fact that there were certain things that you guys kind of thought out. You know what I mean?
Well, what you got to take into account when it comes to everything begins and ends with numbers. Okay, each
Mm-hmm.
you cannot start your day without beginning with numbers and ending with numbers. So
Right.
we got to go back. If we go back to the circa 1972, when a lot of
Mm-hmm.
this stuff was coming off the hot off the press, off the front porch, out the yard, in the streets. See, because
Yeah.
everybody ain't made for the streets.
Yes.
That's why they created the sidewalk. And when you think about, we didn't have the technology they had now have. So now people are able to do things a lot quicker and a lot faster. So therefore, the process is not necessarily like there was a time when I had to have a phone book or I
Mm-hmm.
actually had to remember numbers.
Yeah.
Now today, people just rely on their cell phone. They don't remember nothing. They don't write nothing. They don't remember nothing. So what I'm telling you, a lot of what happens today is microwave. Everything is microwave. They want instant, instant, instant. Where
Yeah.
back in the day, because we was on operating from a different system in a different space and time, we had
Mm-hmm.
to do calculations. We have to figure things out and see if it added up, and then we would know where we land in regards to whatever we was trying to achieve at that time. So that's the difference.
Right. Okay. Because even I was listening, like, I know, dudes is on a different page in their life, but I was listening when Bride Dog was talking about, he was like, yo, if we was gonna rob somewhere, I'll scope out that place for like 2 weeks. I'll dress up like a homeless person across the street. I was like, I ain't never thought of nothing like that.
Yeah, so that and rightfully so, and that's what it was. You know what I mean? But and
Hmm.
then I also got Slim's point where they got a lot more cameras, they got a lot more, so they can. If you surveillance, you would have to be very careful in your surveillance. But like Bridal said, if he in disguise and he looks like a bum and you can't distinguish him from Bridal to the next guy, you can't
Exactly.
say that he was casing your joint. Or you can just say, hey, there was a homeless guy out there, but I don't think he had nothing. So there's
Right.
a couple of ways you can look at that.
Yeah. Because even now with, like you're saying, with surveillance, if they don't know particularly who, if you don't stand out, they're not really gonna think, you know, certain things. But uh, on another note, um, you want to tell everybody what positive things you're doing in the hood, like right now.
Well, I'm a thought leader, influencer, content creator, and I believe that both the Crips and Bloods or Pyros, however you want to put it, frame it, they both was
I
created
mean,
out
the
of
two
mercurial
ways.
mindsets.
Mm-hmm.
Mercurial means something that was all of a sudden unpredictable, something that was wayward, or something that was just it had a mind mood, it had a mind and a mood swing to it. So that made it very reactionary. So I want
Mm-hmm.
to go back because a lot of the OGs now are apathetic. Apathetic in the sense that they lack concern or they don't care because they have already gotten through that process that where they was going to jail, they was on drugs or whatever. Now they
Yeah.
overcame all that, but they don't want to go back and try to fix
Regrets.
and repair
Oh,
the
okay.
initial tear down of the community. So I'm about that life, man. I'm about getting out there helping the kids restructure and giving them different things to look at versus the way they look at things. And I know that that's a tough job because of the
Hmm.
Percocets, the Vicodins, the syrup, the marijuana, the drink, the Jose or whatever they drink it, it's
Hmm.
Hennessy, and the powder and an assortment of all other kind of psychotics they take on a daily basis, and
Yeah.
sometimes they take all 10. So, but anyway,
Hmm.
I think it is my job to go back and at least try to attempt to give them some clarity, give them some knowledge, and use my platform in a way that where they can come to it and get and ask some questions from somebody who's been through that. You know what I mean? Because I'm right at 64, so I've seen a lot, done a lot, and been through a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And you really look really young, by the way, bro. I be wondering what's your secret, my dude. Yeah,
Yeah, just
like
drink plenty of water, bro. Just drink plenty of water.
plenty of
No,
water.
don't smoke nothing. Don't drink nothing but water.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. I keep that in mind.
and
All right,
I eat a double chicken avocado salad every day.
every day.
Every day.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, they do say avocado is one of the superfoods. It's really good.
absolutely. I love it. I love it.
Um, what's it called? All right. Um, what hoods does Santana have beef with in their height? Like, cause as I do research, I don't really know to see per se that Santana had beef too much with too many sets.
Well, in regards to how it was originally structured, there was always beef between the Pyrus and the Crips, right?
Hmm.
But us being centrally located on Rosecrans, which is basically a corridor for Pyrus. In other words, we're the only Crip neighborhood on it. If you go from Avalon all the way down to Paramount, start at Avalon, you got the 135, you got the Caminella Park, you got the West Side Pyru,
Hmm.
you got Cedar Block Pyru, Fruittown Pyru, Treetop Pyru, Mulberry, and then you got Elm Pyru, then you got Ma Pyru, Ludus Park Pyru, and then you got Cross Atlantic and Line. In the middle of all of them is Santana. So
Mm.
yeah, so we kind of created I guess a resistance that where we was forged together by not by necessarily we had to come together in order to survive that
Hmm.
sequence and turn of events. So
Yeah.
as to enemies, I don't. To me, I think it was a lot of disagreements. And it was just a lot of people that was information poor. It was a lot of people that had suffered from information malnutrition because the guys that we were formerly beefing against, we didn't even, a lot of them didn't even know. I went to school with a lot of them, so I had relationship with a lot of those dudes. So it
Hmm.
was hard for me to do something to somebody that I had a relationship with. If somebody didn't do
Yeah.
nothing to me, I didn't do nothing to them. We can walk past each other all day long and not say nothing. But
Yeah.
I get what you're going because a lot of the later on beats became uh basically on sets tripping on each other. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like the Pyrus would
Mm.
trip out on each other and the Crips would trip out on each other. So the whole thing started imploding on itself, because it was never
Hmm.
there was never an organization, it was never organized, there was never a like like some groups, they're very organized and they well structured. That's never been the Crips or the Power Rules.
Right, right. Yeah, I, I felt that. I felt that early in New York. Cause a lot of like, long story short, I started beefing with certain Pyrus, and then dudes who was like my homeboys, they was like, "Well, why you beefing with them?" Because they was serious. You know what I mean? They was this. We was young. We was like 17, and we wasn't holding a lot of burners at the time, and these dudes had burners and stuff, and they like, "Oh, you starting problems," and then they started beefing with me. So it was like I thought we were supposed to be in one thing together, and that
Yeah,
kind
but
of
think about why did you guys start beefing in the first place? You know, usually it's either vagina or it's either somebody don't like something about somebody, and
mhm.
everybody's assumed to adapt whatever your dislikes is, not
Right,
really have no valid reason for it. You know?
right. See, uh, I speak for me being in New York. The numbers was so much in the favor of the Bloods that if they
Yeah,
seen a certain group of Crips, they just like, oh, we this is they would think it's easy pickings because they're like, we're so much deeper than them. We outnumber them by so much. But, you know, it was it had to get to a certain level before they really felt the real stronghold of resistance to the point like now, you look over there, they got the woos and chews, and the woos is all Bloods and Crips in Brooklyn beefing with the GDs. So it's kind of weird, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
yeah, in my era, it was like there's about like, if you see 10 Crips, you'll probably see like 50 Bloods. You know what I mean, in the town. So
And
you
that's
know,
interesting because what a lot of people don't know, a lot of times smaller crews is smaller numbers hit harder than bigger numbers because there's more
yeah,
targets. There's more
yeah,
targets.
yeah.
Yeah.
See, yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Yeah, that's kind of what happens. You know. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I was like how you said y'all was a hub like in the middle like of everything. Cause I see sometimes some people say like, oh, Santanas are cool with Pyrus, and I was just wondering because I know that I've seen you talk about like you've had certain friends like bartender and them was your friends and things like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I mean, because like I said again, we grew up together and we were around each other before Paru Crippin ever exists. It's just
right,
that certain
right.
individuals chose certain alliances and aligned themselves with certain individuals, you know, and
Yeah.
when you saw bartender, you like, hey, what's going on, bartender? Go, what's
Hmm.
Blaze one? We go in the
So what
park
was
and
it?
Blaze.
What was it like when like okay, say if y'all cool with bartender, but then it's a certain group of keyways who like have like a real hard beef with bartender. Like where do where would you per se put yourself in between that? Or have you
Well,
ever
right
even
smack in
been stuck
between,
in it?
right smack in between it, because I had to do it. There was an occasion when me and some of my homies, Yogi Boo Boo, Killer Raider, Bruce Holyfield, a couple others, we were in the park, Tiger McClure, we was in the park, and we had like a basket full of liquor because the liquor store had burned down. So we accumulated a lot of wine, a lot of liquor, and a lot of stuff out the liquor store. So we over there
Mm-hmm.
drinking, and bartenders is in the park with us, getting
Mm-hmm.
high, drinking and stuff. So when we coming
Yeah.
out the park, we finna hit what would have been the main street was Santa Fe. And when we come to the hole in the fence out of the park and get to the main past the store that had burned down, a bunch of Crips came riding up on bicycles. Unknown to us, they start hollering Pyru, Pyru, Pyru here, Pyru, you know what I mean? So we
Mm-hmm.
stood our ground. So bartender felt like, he had to jump out front because he felt like these are his folks. But then he
Mm-hmm.
realized the mistake. He realized they weren't his folks. They was actually Crips just hollering
Mm.
Pyro.
Yeah, trying to
And
throw him off.
yeah, it was Bitter Dog Bruno and Half Pint Bruno, LC, a bunch of cats from the Grandies or whatever. And I had to
Mm-hmm.
stand between bartender and the Grandies and Bruno and them, and yeah, I stood between that. I couldn't let it happen
Mm. Okay.
because what they had to understand that this my friend, you know what I mean. And if y'all don't
Mm-hmm.
like him, y'all got to get with him on some other time. Because
Right,
right
right.
now we responsible for him. And vice
Yeah.
versa. If I'm with him, he responsible for me. So we had that
Mm-hmm.
understanding.
Yeah. Yeah. I always took like that concept is so serious. Like when someone's your company, that's on you to make sure they're straight.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah, so bartender actually got so mad he ran through the hole in the fence, ran to his house, and he come back with a sawed off shotgun because he
Mm.
knew after the incident, they all jumped back on their bikes and they rode off to the red house where Tookie and all
That's
them were at.
Tookies.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so bartender wanted to go back up there and blast on them, but I told bartender, now you're gonna put us in the predicament. If you go blast, they're gonna think that we allowed you to do it, and they're gonna, be on us for that. So he listened
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't go do it.
Right. 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 Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's commendable. Anybody got to
Yeah.
respect that. Because there's not a lot of people who could do that.
No, no, no. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just communication and knowing how
Mm-hmm.
to communicate,
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Right.
knowing what's
Um.
needed in the most critical hour of need.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Mm, reputable fighters from Santana.
Reputable fighters. There was plenty of those, bro. uh Dre Brown, my brother
Mhm.
Age, my homie Scrunchy, my homie Lil Bruno,
Oh,
J
who's
Dog.
who's that dude? You did a um you had talked with him, and he looked like he was in a boxing gym, kind of light skinned dude. And I was thinking in my head, I was like, yeah, he probably looked like he, some things.
I don't recall.
I don't know if it was in a boxing gym. It looked like a boxing gym, but I'm not so
Oh yeah, yeah,
sure.
yeah. That's my homie Tanner Tut.
Yeah,
Got
Tanner.
hands.
Yeah.
Got major hands. Major hands. Yeah, yeah. Then we had Ninja Ben. That's so many. I don't want to leave nobody out, but there was a lot of fighters over there, bro. Like again,
Hmm.
like I tell you, we was forged together, and we had to be like that. We had to be, push that
Hmm.
line. So there was a lot of fighters and a lot of people that did a lot of different things over there, not excluding no one. I think all my homies was great at what they did.
Right, right, right. Okay. And I'm pretty sure you're gonna you probably somewhere at the top of the list, right?
As far as what?
As far as like the hands or just what you did.
Nah, I'm way down the line somewhere, man.
Oh.
I was good at a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I could hold my own because I knew arts, karate, and jujitsu and stuff like that. I was taught
Oh yeah, I
by
said.
some revolutionary cats how to handle protect myself. The people
Mhm.
in the Black Panther Party and also a guy that was in the SLA, Seminole Liberation Army. So we were taught.
Mm,
Then I had
okay.
my homie BJ Bobby. He was a hand god. My cousin Sugar Bear, another hand god.
Yeah, I
So
think I
I hung
heard
out
of.
with
I think
cats.
I heard of him.
I hung out with cats who were older than me. Donnie, we call him Blue Boy. All them they can thump. You know.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. All right. Somebody in gang banging who doesn't get enough recognition, but was a major figure from back in the days.
Somebody who was in gang banging but don't give enough recognition back in the day. Hmm. That's kind of like a difficult question. uh,
Can't make it easy.
huh?
I said I can't make all of them easy.
No, 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 no. I'm thinking about it because I don't want to say, one individual. I think all my homies were that.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think all my homies were that.
I thought that story that that your boy was telling about King Rat, that
Oh,
had me
King Rat
rolling.
when he grabbed the
Yeah.
cheese
Yeah, when he grabbed his teeth, I'm
and
like,
jumped over the
dang.
fence, and they say, "Man, that's a King Rat right there," because he had just a big old bag of cheese.
Yeah, that's pretty hard. That's pretty gangster. All right.
Yeah, they had broken the Compton High and did that.
Was that around what time period was that around?
70s, 70s.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah, he
right.
was actually from Park Village. Back then, it was just Compton Crip. You know what I mean? It didn't matter where you lived at in Compton. If you was a Crip, you was a Crip. And then all that hood stuff came later on.
Mm, okay. So what's the what's like the state of like Compton in a whole right now, you would say?
What's the state of I think Compton is in despair. I think it has in repair. It needs repair. It needs paint. It need a facelift, bro. Because
Mm,
the politicians that have came in over the years have ruined the city. They have allowed the city to go down and ruins. There's a lot of people that live there now that don't live like we did when we were in the 60s and 70s. So a lot of people came down there and they damaged their own community. They don't live like parking cars in their front yards and just all
yeah.
assortment of things that people do now that we didn't do back then, because it was a middle class community, and lawns was well kept, manicured. So, but then again, a lot of the politicians that came in, they took more than they gave to the
Right.
community. Yeah.
Okay. Because when I went there, it I I kind of it made me it opened my eyes to a lot because you know um like we was mainly around like South Central, but
Uh-huh.
I'm seeing a lot of people selling stuff on their lawn, and I'm like, this don't look like a yard sale. This look like they like do this every day, you
Yeah.
know.
You got people that do that every day.
Yeah, so I'm like,
Yeah.
that kind of put like, a lot of people don't talk about the LA hustle. Y'all got a different hustle. Like it's like a you gonna get it kind of regardless type of hustle. Like, you know what I mean? So that kind of made put something in me where I'm like, you know, I could, yeah, I could go out and do what I do, even if I don't have all the paperwork for it. I'm still
Uh-huh.
gonna try to do something, you know,
Gotcha.
because
Gotcha.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a
All right.
different world, bro.
Yeah, it really was, man. I keep telling everybody they need to make that trip. I wish a lot of people knew the emphasis, especially people who was repping anything, the emphasis on that you actually go out there and see what's going on, or really be a part,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
It was like it was a culture shock when the New York Santanas came out here, and
Yeah.
they couldn't they didn't really grasp. They grasped it eventually, but when they came out here, they was like, "Wow,"
Mm-hmm.
because at that time the homies had a clubhouse and they had, they was
Hmm.
partying every night, and the New
Yeah.
York Santanas, they wasn't used to how traffic was. They tore up 3 cars while they were out here, man.
Man, that is crazy. I remember you told me that a long time ago, and that joint had me afraid when I was driving out there. I was like, you know what, I can't. I gotta be on my p's and q's,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I'm
they had
like,
3 accidents, man.
Wow. Yeah. 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 That
But
LA
they had,
traffic.
they had a good time. You know, they came and partied and
Hmm.
met all the homegirls and the homeboys and different
Mm.
stuff. You know what I mean? So they had a real good time.
Hmm. Are you going to Are you going over there anytime soon?
Over to New York,
Hmm.
I would love to go. I just don't know when I'm gonna be able to do it. But yeah, I would love. I've been trying to actually find somebody that'll sponsor it. That way we can go down there and make it a, make it a trip to where we go actually sit down with some youngsters out there and try to
Mm.
explain to them, they don't have to be, what they believe Master Cody wrote in his book or anything as far as
Yeah.
colors or any of
Yes.
the gang movies, Boys in the Hood, anything. Don't take all that stuff. Let's get rid of all that and let's start from
Hmm.
scratch. Let me give it to you from scratch so you can
Yeah.
fully understand that what you are attempting to adapt and incorporate
Hmm.
into your culture. Because I think that New York has a very rich culture, the
Yeah.
Renaissance and all the different things that came out of that time. And I
Hmm.
think that, man, a lot of those guys, man, Adam Clayton Powell, the
Hmm.
Langston Hughes, and the Maya Angelos, and some of the
Yeah.
notable writers and poets that came out of there, man, they got to be like, wow, this is what they
Yeah.
do.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Seeing a lot of a lot of people need to look at the past and try to be like aspire to be great like that. But
Uh
I
huh.
would, I definitely want to help sponsor that trip because I know there's so many people there's so many youngsters who need that right now.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. So I would want it to be a field trip and education, not just me go out there and see Manhattan and see Harlem, see Brooklyn, go down to Brownsville. You know what I mean? I mean, all
Mhm.
that's cool, but let's make it make sense too.
Yeah, 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 for sure. All right, all right. I'm sure you got a bunch, but can you tell us a turtle story?
Oh man, Kitty Wayne Johnson. Oh man. Well, there was this time when me and Kitty Wayne Johnson, we were in Biscayne Center. Biscayne Center is like a lockup to where it was like permanent work crew. And we were PWCs, permanent work crew at Biscayne Center, and we was actually he was part of the kitchen crew, and I was part of another crew. But anyway, he
Hmm.
had a year to spend there, and I had I think like 6 months or something like that. But anyway, we wound up meeting there, and during that time, that's when we got really close, and we really we got a chance to talk. Because when you confine, man, you find out things about people. You get to learn things about people you didn't know, because now you're in a confined moment. So the real things get, because what's behind the appearance is always the reality. So
Hmm.
while we doing time there, the homies, man, they came up there one day, right? I'm talking about they
Hmm.
don't drove all the low riders. They got Turtles cars. They got Gangster got his five, and all the other homies got they low. The twins got they low riders. So it's a gang of homies come up there, and they bring the homegirls to see me and Turtle. So the homegirls come pull me and Turtle out. We in there visiting, having fun, and them fools is all outside in the parking lot hitting switches. Boom! Upsetting the whole jailhouse. You know what I mean? They don't
Wow.
make these like because for I don't know anybody, homies, that I'm talking about, man, you got anywhere from 30, 40, 50 homies to come visit you, and the majority of them can't get in, but they in the parking lot right by the gate where you can see them. They got the low riders dipping them, dumping them, pancaking, hitting the switches. And
Hmm.
man, the captain of the compound, man, he lost it. He came and snatched me in total and blamed us for the whole thing, threatened us with all kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But they was just
Yeah.
really, in actuality, they was just really afraid because they had never seen nothing like that, and they
Yeah,
didn't
that's
know how
power.
much love. Once again, the love that we forged between each other was
Hmm.
a must-have. We had to do it. You know what I mean? So they didn't understand the strength and the love that we had. And our homeboys definitely displayed it, came up there and see us, and they wanted to know we was all right, you know. So yeah, the whole compound
Hmm.
was disrupted. They pulled me and Toto out and threatened us with all kind of stuff. So told us this ever happen again, we this be the last time or whatever. I don't even remember all the words he was saying. It was like blah 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 to me,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
afterwards, me and Turtle went back to our unit. We laughed and talked about it. You know what I mean? Because we can literally, because when we coming out of visiting, we can literally see the homeboys through the gate out there. So yes, BC, Santana, big banana. If we can't get it, it can't get God. And you know they set shouting out all the mantras, you know,
Hmm.
and we
Hmm.
loving it. You know what I mean? So the whole compound became aware of what happened, and, you know, and so the whole compound at that thing, you know, had great respect. You know,
Right,
good
right.
story, man. You know.
How did how did how did he how did how did y'all link with them people from Britain who did that little documentary like way in the 80s?
Well, what happened is that they L.A. count L.A. The city of Los Angeles was awarded the Summer Olympics.
Hmm.
Once they was awarded the Summer Olympics, they start, you know, locking up folks and trying to clean up the streets in the city. So the news media put out this message saying that the Crips could possibly be a disruption or be challenging when it came to the Olympics because of a lot of Crips that were surrounding where the Coliseum was. There was a lot of different neighborhoods over there. So when they came, they asked this guy. His name was Graves. He was Operation Safe Street (OSS), and they asked him who he thought that would be the most dangerous or the most critical or who can actually affect the Olympics in a way that made a negative impact. So what happened? They really put the whole world on like, you know how the media, when they get something, they blow it up and everybody get all of a sudden is afraid
Yeah.
because you got people that's coming from Germany, you got people coming from Russia, China, Japan, all over the world. So they don't know nothing about gang banging. But now you got
Yeah.
this media hyping it all up and making it seem like their athletes might be in trouble, you know, if they come
Mhm.
over here and participate. So I think it was all hype and stuff, you know what I mean? Probably LA probably intended to do that. I don't know. So the
Mm.
guy asked the Graves guy. So the Graves guy put him in the car and brought him over. He said, "These guys right here, if you go back and look at it, he'll tell you right there in the clip in the Gang City 1984 docu series that Santana at the time was one of the worst gangs in the city of Los Angeles. So that's how that happened.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. So did do you think they came out of that like learning anything, or do you think they just
Oh
kind
yeah,
of like
definitely, definitely. They learned a lot because we actually put them in the lowriders, took them to the skating rink, took them to the street race in Florence and Maine. We allowed them in our world. They got to see our world. We allowed them in the back house. We pulled out all kind of guns on them and all kind of showed a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? So they got a real in depth look into our world. You know, which was probably one of the first documentary that was able to get inside like that and actually see some things, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought that thing was pretty cool. I was like, dang, they knew about y'all overseas way back when. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. How did you feel when like movies like Colors and things and Menace to Society came out?
I felt like they was trying to mimic and copy something that they really didn't know nothing about. That's what I
Mm.
felt about them. You know what I mean? Did they have some things right? Yeah. Did they have some things wrong? Of course they did. So, you
Yeah.
know, but it's just, you know, they selling movies. They're selling at that time DVDs. You know.
Right. Right.
So
I
that
always have. I always had my own gripe with like I liked Boys in the Hood. I always had my own gripes with like Menace to Society because I was just like, damn, like they made I don't know, they kind of made Kane like I don't know, they made him like this like super duper gangster. I'm like, nobody's that gangster all the time. You gotta you gotta
Nah,
you know
nah. You gotta take some days off, bro.
yeah, yeah. So
You don't take some days off, man. You find yourself in a dirt pile, dirt nap real quick.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I be looking at I'll be watching like like you or like Kev Mac, and they talk about so many brothers who did X, Y, and Z, and
Uh-huh.
then you find out they murdered, and you like I'm just like, damn, like they seem like they did so much. Like, I would have really loved to speak to Mac Thomas because I hear his name a lot. I hear there's a lot of names I hear a lot, but
Yeah,
yeah.
Mac was the one that got everybody to where the ball is, So yeah,
Hmm.
Mac instituted a lot of the things that actually helped formulate and kind of put the framework around Crippen and Compton.
Mm, yeah. Was was anybody probably bigger than Tookie?
As far as size,
Yeah.
yeah, there was a couple of cats, Big David Clark, Mad Dog was a huge guy. My homie JJ, Johnny Jones was another huge guy. There were
Yo,
some
was
guys that was
was was Big P Money bigger than Tookie? Cause that picture he's showing, he was huge. I was like, yo,
Big P Money. Yeah, P Money.
yeah,
P Money was up there, man. Yeah, P Money was up there, man. But
yeah.
he wasn't as cut up as Tookie, man. He was just huge. He
Okay.
was just bulky. He was like more like the other guy, Samson.
Oh, okay. Like
You know who Samson is?
is that Craig Munson?
Nah, that's Jamel Barnes.
Oh, Jamel Barnes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. I was doing some research on him, and I coincidentally when I started doing a lot of research on him, I seen all the things he was saying about Tookie, and I just I didn't think that was that right.
Yeah, you would have thought that based on because if you saw him, you saw Tookie, you saw him. You saw him, you saw Tookie. There were a
Yeah.
lot of times where they were just together doing just a lot of things, and for him to talk the way he did, you can hear the malice and the jealousy and the hatred for. Because
Yeah.
I tell you, man, that uh, jealousy will hide in support, and envy can hide in compliments, and love can hide in hate. Just because they saying it don't mean they got it for you. So you just
Mhm.
got to pay attention to these individuals. They'll be saying that they got love for you, but all the time, man, they don't.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you mean. It definitely be like that.
Yeah.
Oh, rap. Damn, my phone battery low, bro. Ah,
That's
damn.
all right, man. We'll catch back up, man. You get more comfortable with what you're doing, and it'll get better as you go.
All right, all right, all right. Did I do good? You think? I
Yeah,
hope
you
I
did
didn't do
good.
bad. All
I think
right,
you did good. Yeah.
all right. Bet. Yeah.
Shout out to
Next
New
time.
York. Shout out to North Carolina. Shout out you in North Carolina or Virginia.
Nah, I'm in North Carolina.
Shout out to the Carolinas, man. I am Professor Melly Mail, the Hood Post, man. Shout out
All
to
right,
everybody out there on the East Coast, man. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening.
all right. Appreciate you, bro. I'm gonna
No
hit you
doubt.
up. All
Okay,
right.
do that. We
Bet.
out. Go ahead and lock the door because we are going.